Oh boy, Columbus, step right up to the plate because y'all may be getting yourselves another goalie sometime soon. Could Samuel Montembeault of the Montreal Canadiens be Columbus's next guy? Let's dive into this piece posted by Felix Forget earlier last week because it goes over a Blue Jackets update that I do think deserves some airtime over here. As of today, the article's publishing on August 20th, Samuel Montembeault is still in Montreal. The goalie has not been traded despite months of speculation about his future, and it remains to be seen whether he'll start next season in a Canadiens uniform. However, we know every year there are goaltending situations across the league that become unclear shortly before the season. It was in this context, as we recall, that Monty came to Montreal in 2021. They placed him on waivers, the Florida Panthers did, and the Habs ended up claiming him, and to be fair, Samuel Montembeault has been a pretty good waiver wire addition from then until now. 5 years later, though, Monty ain't that great, but still, he's a part of the roster. Now, the article says, a door may just have opened. The Blue Jackets announced that goaltender Elvis Merzlikins has just undergone shoulder surgery. We don't know when he'll be ready to return, but his start to the season is seriously compromised. Here's the update from Columbus. Elvis Merzlikins underwent successful shoulder surgery on Monday. No timetable has been set for his return at this time. And if we take a look at some of the replies over here, full details would include at minimum information as to what was seen on the MRI, what was found by the surgeon, and what type of repair was made. We know you're never going to give... Okay, this tweeter is just kind of upset, eh? Man, we get injured even when there isn't hockey involved. Oh man, wishing him a speedy recovery. Shoulder surgery is not fun, obviously not. So, with all that said, Elvis Merzlikins, he's going to be on the shelf for a while. How long, we're not too sure. But you could probably assume that, maybe about a month is not out of the equation? I mean, it's August 23rd right now. It'll be September 20-something when the season begins, and then October when it gets into full swing, so... Can Elvis Merzlikins, a goaltender, recover from shoulder surgery in a month? I don't know about that, man. Let's go out there and read the article over here. Merzlikins is in the backup goalie position in Columbus, where Jet Greaves is clearly established as the starter. That said, it's worth remembering that the Blue Jackets are under more pressure than ever to win this season. Zach Werenski's future in the city is in doubt, and Kirill Marchenko, 1 year away from restricted autonomy. Autonomy. That's a funny word to use there. Funny, Google Translate. Marchenko could also leave sooner rather than later. There is such a situation in which Elvis Merzlikins returns before the start of the season or shortly after. In such a scenario, it's reasonable to think the Blue Jackets would be able to hold their own. But if his absence continues, it could be a problem. And Phoenix Copley, who is next in line, has been signed to play in the AHL. Take a look at this tweet from Aaron Portzlin. If Columbus Blue Jackets goalie Merzlikins isn't ready to go at the start of the season, Phoenix Copley would be the backup for Jet Greaves. Copley, who had spent part of his childhood in Lancaster, Ohio, was signed as a free agent and expected to play for AHL Cleveland. Mighty convenient. Right before the season, would it make sense for the Blue Jackets to sign Cam Talbot or Connor Ingram instead, and Copley can be the starter in Cleveland? Well, why not just go out there and make a trade? That's also being discussed over here too. Add to the fact that Merzlikins has been struggling for the past few years, and one wonders if Samuel Montembeault of the Canadiens, despite his poor 25-26, could be an improvement in the backup role. He has, after all, had some good seasons in previous years and helped the Canadiens reach the playoffs in 24-25. If the Jackets see a guy who can bounce back and Merzlikins has a while to recover, it's easy to make connections. We also know that Don Waddell and Kent Hughes have made deals in the past. The two dudes completed the transaction that brought Patrick Laine to Montreal, and we know that in recent months, they must have had some discussions on Kirill Marchenko. And no, we obviously should not expect Monty to help the Canadiens acquire Marchenko, but if Kent Hughes helps his counterpart out of this mess, it can't hurt communication between the two executives for future trade talk. Could you imagine Samuel Montembeault in a trade for Kirill Marchenko? It just would violate every rule that we feel about these players internally if they were to get traded in some form or another for each other. But Montembeault is 29 years old, signed till the end of this upcoming season, making $3.15 million a year, .904 save percentage in 2 Laval Rocket games, .872 in 25 Canadiens games. Montembeault just didn't have a good year. This guy's not good, and I think a lot of folks are really disappointed to say that. I mean, Montembeault did have one very good game against Winnipeg on February the 4th over there, but it was surrounded by a whole bunch of other bad games here too. Sure, you had multiple 900 save percentage games in December and January and everything, but still, the bad outweighed the good for Sammy Montembeault, especially at the beginning of the year. There's a reason Jakub Dobeš was the main guy, and there's a reason Jacob Fowler was the backup guy, leaving Monty to have his own time in the press box night in and night out in the Stanley Cup Playoffs. He didn't even suit up for the team in the playoffs. That's how absent Montembeault's presence was on the team at that point. But sometimes nature calls, and sometimes nature takes away your main backup goaltender, like Elvis Merzlikins and his .883 save percentage from last year. This upcoming season, you'll probably see Jet Greaves be given full autonomy of that starter crease. Greaves, by the way, 25 years old, .908 save percentage in 55 games last season and a .938 in the 11 games he had the year before that with Columbus. Greaves is an absolute beast, and I'm honestly pretty confident that he'll be able to hold it down and hold his own over the upcoming few months. It's just, goalies can't play 82 games, and if Elvis Merzlikins ain't in the building, is Phoenix Copley going to be your guy? Or why not go out there and make a trade? Sammy Montembeault is right there. He is available, and he can be yours for the cheap little price of Kirill Marchenko and a second-round draft pick. I'm joking about that. That's not going to happen, but either way, the article even fully acknowledges that if these guys are able to talk about trades, and they're able to make another trade, they're able to build on the Patrick Laine deal from years ago and then trade Montembeault to a team that could actually use him, that might be pretty productive, and that might increase the fanfare and the good vibes between both of these teams. Who really knows? Could Sammy Montembeault be the precursor to a Kirill Marchenko trade? Or, if not, can he actually just be useful in an NHL backup role whilst Elvis Merzlikins is out with shoulder recovery? You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Does it make sense for Montembeault to get sent over to Columbus? If you're a Blue Jackets fan, how would you feel on this guy being the backup replacement over this guy? Thoughts on Jet Greaves and his future? Thoughts on Montembeault and his .872 save percentage from last year? I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on. And bye.